Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Happy Friday to you. Quick look at Solana, see what's going on. Bitcoin back on track here. We saw a pretty nasty candle wick all the way as low as 225 for Solana. When Bitcoin, yes, drum roll please, Bitcoin dropped as low as 90,200. Ain't that some beep? Yeah, that's some garbage right there. But again, market makers know what they're doing. They flushed out all sorts of longs, which were low, mid, and high leverage. Everything got pretty much wrecked. Unless you had a liquidation level at just sub 90,000, there was no reason to have not been upset by that. Anyways, the whole point of me mentioning that is because that pushed the price action down lower for Solana, but it quickly recovered and has since pulled back and increased. So while this cup and handle pattern is still playing out, it's one heck of an ugly candle pattern based on some really aggressive candles. So if there's more playouts or more importantly, if there's more patterns, I'll go ahead and describe those to you or post that on our playout chart as per usual with on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. And again, if you're not familiar with Bitcoin, closing above its all-time high is a really good sign here if we can see that. Again, local all-time high, 99,700, which puts us right at this 0.618 fib level for Bitcoin, still looking pretty sweet. We're seeing a lot of liquidation at the 105 to 110 mark, so wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin makes a bit of a run here soon, just based on that last little bit of there's no opposition now at this point. And now shorts are about to get destroyed. A lot of late shorts getting hammered. Anyways, that all factors into Solana for a lot of reasons, and I'll explain why. So if you're rolling your eyes right now thinking, man, what the hell is wrong with this guy? This is a Solana analysis. Why is he looking at Bitcoin? You probably know by now. And if you don't, just to clarify, Bitcoin kind of calls the shots. And if you don't know what Bitcoin's doing, you're kind of shooting in the dark with altcoins. So that's exactly why I analyze Bitcoin first before I do anything for the day, because I need to know where it's at, okay? And more importantly, the correlation between Bitcoin and altcoins. That's kind of what we're looking at here. How well is Bitcoin recovering and how well is Solana recovering, right? And how are they paired together or inversely? Having said that, though, Solana's responding very well, and it isn't showing any signs of pullback. We held our support range very well. And I'll explain that too here when we look at the charts. Anyways, for liquidation, simply put, we mentioned this previously, you can see it on the charts, local liquidation resistance range, 245 to 250. We saw a candle wick up to 247, so you can kind of see that reflected here. So 247 to 250 is that new area of concentration. We zoom out and in, we can see there's 2, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 billion between 247 and 250. I think there's a distinct probability we're going to see that here soon, but there's no doubt about it. It's a strong resistance level. Okay, so you got to recognize, resistances exist and liquidation levels occur at those places because of support and resistance levels. Don't get it twisted. Just because there's liquidation there doesn't make it a support. It's actually quite the opposite. Anyways, conversation for later. Looking here at the liquidation delta, still pretty high. This leads me to believe that we're in really, really good shape here with Solana. Because if you look at Bitcoins, for example, and again, yes, I'm going to use Bitcoin quickly here to recognize here, we saw a bunch of people, pretty much the majority of the market, shift over to a bearish sentiment. We see, even right now at this point, we probably got about 5 billion in liquidation short delta, even still. So people are shorting Bitcoin, and they're about to have a really bad day. The reason why that's important, though, is to note with Solana, you can see here, that we have a better liquidation delta. It's higher, it's more bullish, if you will, and that's a good sign. And you could also maybe consider too and think like, we've been high for too long. What's the problem? Well, when we hit these reset buttons every couple of times, the liquidation delta keeps shifting gears and it's not staying too high for too long. So while we have been bullish for about 3 or 4 days in this coin, there's a decent chance it's going to explode here soon, because just like Bollinger Bands, anything you hold underwater or under pressure are going to take off. And we can see that support holding very strong for Solana. So the likelihood of further upside is greater because of that. Okay? Again, that's just some things that I kind of think about. I look at the charts a little differently than people. And again, liquidation, it really helps understand. It kind of fills in some of those gaps you don't see on the charts. Having said that, though, we can see a lot of folks are doing pretty well right now. 234 is the average price here locally once the price hit the old reset button there. And then we can see 237 for some late longs here, but that's justifiably so. So again, 234, 237, there's that little support range, once again reaffirming itself. We can see this 0.618 as per usual, holding strong at that 234 level. Local point of control also at 237, so this is just a lot of confirming factors here letting us know that even though we've come down below a couple times, we instantly recover and we're starting to work ourselves into a compression type of pattern here. What I mean by that is just, again, this is just a loose sketch. I'll clean up the charts, but if you can kind of see here, we're working ourselves into a nice ascending type of trend, higher lows being established while we're concurrently establishing parallel highs. And generally speaking, that reinforces that resistance at the 242, 245 range, but it also reinforces the fact that the bulls are in control and they're pushing the price action higher, and you can keep testing that resistance level and eventually it breaks. That's what we're going to see here soon. Again, that's just kind of the likelihood. If Bitcoin runs back down into the 90K range, low 90s or mid 90s, for example, this may be a different story. Okay, again, all the more reason why we understand what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's back up over its resistance level. Should be in really good shape. So daily time frame, let's recognize this here. When we look at the moving averages, we're still below the 20-day SMA. That's another kind of confirming factor letting us know we're not fully bullish yet, but we're almost there, right? So closing over 240 today would be super solid. I think that would put us in prime position. We can take a look here as well. We can see we're over 50 on the RSI, stochastic second swing up, showing much more strength this time, and money flow index is running parallel with it. So those are all very positive signs. There's nothing really bearish there. It's not fully bullish, but it's mostly, okay? Same thing here as well with the 4 hour. We can recognize that we are respecting our ascending trend. Again, I just drew this trend line out kind of earlier, but it runs concurrent with the 20. That's a good sign. Being above the 20-day SMA and the 50 is super, super solid. I feel very comfortable taking long positions on this side, if you will, okay? Taking longs into that makes a little less sense. It's a bit of a higher risk. You can still do it. It's just not appropriate or advised. We can see RSI also plateauing here, so to speak, bouncing off 50 every single time. So with the RSI staying closer to 50 and we're establishing higher highs and higher lows in the trading pattern, that's a type of hidden convergence at least. And I don't like to even use the word hidden convergence because I think it's garbage that people tend to reach when they say that. But the truth is here that that's a very bullish sign no matter how you look at it. So word it what you will. But the price action is looking like it's more likely to increase because of those factors there. Because again, people feel like it's a good value, right? With the RSI staying closer to 50, that's a baseline. However, the price keeps going up, right? And we also got money flow index to compare with that or to stay strong, basically implying we got money flowing into this coin too. While it's not monumental, again, we don't have a tremendous amount of volume here. I think the fact of the matter is here, we're sustaining and doing very well, contrary to the majority of the market. Granted, most altcoins are doing well too right now, but leading into this is a nice little, it's a nice type of channel or funnel that traditionally will break to the upside. Let's take a look at the hourly and recognize this here too. This is going to be a bit of a mess because we're having this ripsaw effect similar to what Bitcoin has been doing in the last couple of weeks. And we can see, of course, with all this continuation, regardless of the fact the price continues continuing lower, at least here we saw a lower low there. We are in really good position. We're above the cloud. The lagging span, again, it's kind of muddled, right? So it's not really the best indication. When the price does this kind of up and down, the best thing to look for is to be above the cloud and to have other confirming factors, which we've already discussed here so far. We're over that 0.618, that golden pocket for the moment. Our local point of control, 237. We really just need to have a closure at 237 and 240 or higher, and I think we're going to be in prime position to see the price run towards 250 and then some. So I'm comfortable with our long position. We have a long position open with Solana and SEI right now. They're both averaged in nicely into the low 230s, and then the same thing with SEI. I think we're at like 68 cents and some change. So again, really good stuff there. I think we're comfortable in leaving our positions open. Again, we want a closure of 100,000 or higher from Bitcoin today, and I think we're going to be in pretty prime position this weekend to see some alts do some cool stuff. Solana should be one of those just based on its it keeps trying to break and hasn't yet, but we're getting super close. So anyways, these are all positive signs here, folks, I like to look at. Okay, so again, I'm not sitting here trying to convince you to take a long or a short. Really, ultimately, it's up to you and what you want to do. I literally look at the charts trying to convince myself not to take a trade at any given time. So take with this what you will, take with a grain of salt or whatever, but if you are considering a trade with Solana, it makes more sense based on what we've seen here so far. 90% or higher of all the contributing factors are pointing up versus down right now. So again, statistically probable to find profit if you go up versus trying to short this coin. That's just kind of the way it's going. All right, hope that makes sense and I described that correctly. Join us over at Bitunix too, folks. Again, $12,000 deposit bonus, awesome stuff. Be sure to check it out. These guys are fantastic. We just divvied up 60,000 across 20 different traders for last month's little incentive prize pool. So that's pretty cool too. Anyways, I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here shortly. I hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you soon.